Stewart Parks, who is joining us here in studio on WTN. You're running to replace Mark Green in the 7th congressional race. So thank you very much for being here and coming in.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So you spend, of course, everyone knows your story, so I don't know how much I want to focus on that, but you spent time in prison for events related to January 6th. I don't feel like I want to focus on that necessarily because everybody's heard your story. But one of the first things I said when I met you just moments ago, I appreciate what you've gone through. And I find it, what a great American story that you've gone from, prison for bogus charges, in my opinion, related to January 6th. And now here you are running for the 7th. Let me ask one question, though. Which prison were you in?
I was locked up in a federal prison in Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay, Memphis, Tennessee. What did you learn about yourself in that prison, if anything?
Well, that is a great question. It was shocking. I mean, I learned that I didn't know that there was a world out there, people that wake up every day, looking to go after conservatives, that hate conservatives. While in prison, I mean, I was shocked at, just the mindset of, criminals, murderers, child molesters, real gangsters. And I mean, it made me really, really, really appreciate our Constitution and that the protections that we have the right to bear arms and speak out and so forth. So, yes, sir.
I can imagine that after what you've been through, you have more of an appreciation, by the way, for law and order. And so, of course, you brought up Memphis. And if you end up winning the election for the 7th, then you'll be dealing with House-related issues and federal issues. And so President Trump, of course, has announced that he is going to, along with Bill Lee and our 2 senators and pretty much everyone involved, wants to send the National Guard, additional law enforcement into Memphis. Based on your experience, you think that's a good idea?
Yes, sir, absolutely. Memphis, and what's crazy is the prison I was at in Memphis had a contract with D.C. Anybody that, committed crimes, in D.C. was also incarcerated in Memphis. So I've seen, what Trump's doing in D.C., cleaning up the streets there and, the gangsters and the inmates I was in prison with. I mean, these people you don't want on the streets. And I was at a low security, which means people are graduating their way back to society. And I saw people I was like, oh, my God, this person's about to get released. Their release date's coming up, and they haven't learned their lesson. So, absolutely, I'm fully support Trump, cleaning up the streets of D.C. and Memphis.
It's pretty crazy, isn't it? Like, I mean, I don't know. Remind me how much time you actually spent in prison?
So I was sentenced to 8 months in federal prison, and I only did 5 months and 10 days because I got out early for good behavior, and I had to graduate, my way out, went to halfway house, and then home supervised release. So
after all of that, you decide that you want to run for the 7th. Tell me why you're running. And I'm just going to say this. If it were me, I would find an island somewhere and just want to be left alone. But you have learned some things about yourself and about the justice system. And so it seems to me like what you're trying to do is you're trying to exact some change.
Yes, sir. So we can never go back to 2020, with the horrible lockdown mandate. And then, with the Biden reign of terror, just from the election fraud, he comes in and then just, we see transgenderism at a level we've never seen before, oppression, crime skyrocketed, illegal immigration, all that. And then the justice system, the abuse, they were going after, innocent people like what they did to me, Steve Bannon, Peter Navarro, pro-life supporters, all this. So we can never go back to that. So that's why I'm in this race, to ensure that we never go back to any of that.
When you talk about the Biden era, I mean, there's so many things when we think back to the Biden era. There are people that were, in my estimation, unfairly imprisoned, such as yourself. We also had, of course, the open borders. We had Biden's auto pen scandal. We had a president clearly in mental decline. So when you think about the Biden administration, what is the one thing that stands out as the worst transgression?
Oh, my God, that is such a tough question. So many things stand out. I mean, to me, it breaks my heart. There are wonderful, precious individuals that aren't here with us today. I mean, I look at, obviously, we're talking about January 6th, Ashley Babbitt, she was murdered, and, Rose Emble and all these people. And then you look at, I think her name was Lincoln Riley, a Georgia student. Yep. She's dead because illegal immigrant came in.
It's hard to think of just one, isn't there?
Right. You're right. And so, I mean, just the precious lives that had their futures cut short because of the Biden administration. I mean, and just the pain. So many of us, Americans should be, further along in their economic situation, and their dreams have been dashed because of, the economic hardship and just so many things that, I mean, I tell people we've been robbed. Those 4 years were supposed to be another golden 4 years. And thank God Trump won because we're, getting back to where we should be. But that's a great question. I mean, just so many people dead. The 11 heroes that were dead from Afghanistan.
Oh, the Afghanistan pullout?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just so many things. And everybody, the voters agree with me, the Russian-Ukraine situation, that would have never happened had Trump stayed in office. And you look at all those precious people that are dead.
Even Vladimir Putin agrees with us about that. So, it is crazy. And I myself have tried to pin it down to just one. Like, what's the one thing, the most egregious? I can't think of what the first one is because they're all so egregious. The lie about Biden's mental capacity was so widespread. What they did to gaslight the American people. But it's not about me; it's about you. So let's talk about you and what you want to do. If there is one or two major issues that is at the top of your resume as far as people, what should people know about you and your campaign?
Great question. So I'm the local candidate. I was born and raised in South Nashville, South Davidson County in District 7, and I was homeschooled with a good Christian private education, and then I went to Easy Harding Christian School. So loved the district. My grandparent, or on my dad's side, he was a farmer in Barren Plains in Robertson County. And then my mom's father was born and raised in McEwen. So like I said, family grew up in the district, and I'm a true Christian conservative in this race. As we mentioned, the Biden administration threw me in prison along with many other, pro-Trump, pro-American citizens. And so,
Patriots.
Yes, sir. And so, I've been through the fire, I've had intense pressure unlike anybody can imagine, put upon me, and I still stay true to my Christian conservative roots. So, and my motto, again, is putting America first means putting you first. And I really believe that.
I got to tell you, the changes you want to get a native Nashvilleian or Tennessean talking, just start talking about the changes that Tennessee has seen. Talk about the changes that you have seen since you grew up in the 7th and what it is now.
That's a really good question. So, I love talking with the locals, where I live, Woodbine, Berry Hill neighborhood. There's famous landmarks. People used to say, "Oh, I live over by Miss Grissom's Salad." Well, now these new people that come in, they don't even know where that is, and just a lot of, and again, a lot of this had to do with the COVID lockdown. It breaks my heart that we went through that because these precious, old time establishments, they've gone out of business because they just couldn't make it. And so, the changes I've seen, a lot of people, I'll tell you, the voters I talk to, they come over from oppressive states such as Oregon, California, and they appreciate our Christian conservative way of life. And they tell me a lot of times they're homeschooling their kids, and, the vaccine mandates in other states brought them over here. So people appreciate, they love, the Tennessee way of life. I just ask them, when you come here, just don't fight it, assimilate, come be part of us. So. Mm-hmm.
I'm from, you may or may not know, but I'm from California, and I'm one of those guys that, but in fairness to me, I came from a lot of other areas. I was born in California, came here, and absolutely assimilated to the ways of the South and Tennessee. I love it here. And I think that you've got such a great story. From a fiscal perspective, would you have voted for the big, beautiful bill? This seems like one of the things that everybody wants to talk about. I think that it is something that is very important to know where you stand on some of these issues. So would you have voted for it?
Yes, sir, absolutely, because I love, the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, things like that. I hate taxation, high taxes. I'm against it. I want to roll back more regulation. And, the Biden economy put so much pressure on people. Families were struggling to survive. So the Be Beautiful bill, there's great things that come out of it. And our economy, we're getting stronger. And we're going to get there, especially when Jerome Powell from the Fed chair, if he'll lower the interest rates to where they should be, this economy really, really is going to take off. So, yes, I would have voted for it.
What is the you talk about President Trump, and every single candidate in this race, it seems like, says that they are the most pro-Trump candidate. I've been joking about this since all of this happened. So what makes you, I'm assuming that's one of the things that you're going to say too, you are one of the most pro-Trump candidates. What makes you a pro-Trump candidate?
Well, I say this, President Trump personally pardoned me and many other heroes, this year for January 6th. And it wasn't with an auto pen. He actually, hand signed it. And so I voted for Trump 2016, 2020, 2024. I think he's a genius. His policies work. District 7 voters, overwhelmingly voted for Trump in each presidential primary. And I agree with this Make America Great Again policies. I want to see, more manufacturing jobs come here. I talked to voters like a place like Wayne County, and they were just decimated with all these factory jobs leaving and going overseas and so forth. So I want to see them come back and, strengthen the economy in these rural areas.
What inspired you to run for the 7th? Like, was there a particular thing that happened, or you just decided based on everything that you have experienced, and you've experienced some horrific things? Was there one thing that you thought, okay, I'm going to run? You heard that Mark Green was going to retire, and you said, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to change. Oh,
that's a great question. So, we just went through the worst 4 years, one of the worst 4 years in our nation's history, with the Biden administration being, illegitimately, they illegitimately took over with the election fraud. So the Democrats, they're like unapologetic. They now want to look at the next election cycle, the next opportunity to take over and resume what they had planned, and so forth. And we can't ever go back. We can't ever go back to that. And what we've done is play political volleyball, and that, we win an election, then the next election cycle, Democrats win, or, we get a majority in the House, they get a majority in the Senate, and we can't flip-flop. We can never do that again. The Democrats have gone so far left, so far woke, and they're unapologetic about it too. And you see the thing with Charlie Kirk, there's far left personalities, if you will, celebrating and laughing. Now, I've seen they're getting fired, and communities are pushing back against that, but they're not sorry. They need these seats, if you will. And so I've been in the race again because I don't want to go back to 2020 and this communist reign of terror that we just came out of.
I think that you mentioned the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the aftermath. And, of course, the assassination was horrendous enough. Now you see, as you mentioned, we do have Democrats, and they're laughing, they're blaming Charlie Kirk, depending on who we're talking about. And it is horrifying. And I guess one of the things, as you look at the tenor of where we are in America, and I think that it seems to be getting worse, not better. I think conservatives such as yourself, we know the proper way to behave. It seems like the other side, this is neither here nor there to the election, but it just seems like they don't know how to behave anymore.
Yeah, well, you're right. Again, we talked about January 6th. It was overwhelmingly people, gathering, protest, whatever you want to call it. And, we didn't burn down cities like you see in Seattle and the far left have done. And again, with the Charlie Kirk, we went straight to prayer when the news came out, and prayer and love and supporting Charlie Kirk and his family. You look at the far left, what they do when something, that they think has happened to them like this, they just go, tear up stuff and use hateful rhetoric and all this stuff. And, the Republican Party, Christian conservatives, we're the people of love. You know what I'm saying? We love people. We pray for you, even on the other side. Now, the other side, a lot of times, they don't like it and will lash out or whatever have you. But, we want peace for America. And it's just, it's insane, the personalities that, what they're saying, and mocking Charlie Kirk and all this stuff. And I view Charlie Kirk as a martyr.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you want to go hang out with the Democrats in Washington, D.C. I love it to make a change. Stewart Parks. All right, so we've got about 30 seconds left. Give me your 1-minute elevator pitch. Why should people vote for you?
Yes, again, my name is Stewart Parks. Thank you, Mr. Mandis, for having me on your show. Again, I believe putting America first means putting you first. And, as we had mentioned, and I'll tell you this, my background's in real estate. I love preserving, Tennessee history and so forth. And then, while I was doing that, the Biden administration put me in prison for supporting President Trump. Thankfully, I got a personal pardon and so forth. And so, again, I'm very conservative. I want to see lower taxes, roll back regulation. I'm very tough on illegal immigration. I want, adequate, plenty of funding for border agents and ICE agents and, stop the crime and get the illegals out of our country. I'm the local candidate, the true Trump candidate. And again, I'm thankful to be on this show. And thank you, sir, for having me.
But some people clearly didn't get the joke, Joan.
Which
about
joke?
when Super Texter came in and said, ask Stewart to say Franklin Road.
Yeah.
So the reason the Super Texter said that is because I shanked Franklin Road. So it wasn't anything on Stewart. It was me. Because he's clearly able to say Franklin Road, and clearly I can't do it with any kind of consistency.
Dan, you were making fun of Stewart.
I was not making fun of Stewart.
You're an awful person.
Oh, stop it, you two.
I like when Mason's here.
I'm happy to be here.
No, you're not. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I'd rather be in my bed right now.
That's exactly. Listen.
Actually, no. You know what? Right now, I'd be sitting in hour and a half traffic still. So,
yeah.
You know what? I think I do like being here.
Well, listen, Chris isn't here. And the reason we didn't have a version of Mostly Peaceful with Dan and Chris last Saturday is because, things got a little weird, Joe. I don't know if you know this. Things got a little weird with me and Chris. Because.
Really?
Yeah.
More than normal, actually.
He insisted that we change the name of the podcast to Mostly Peaceful with Chris and Dan.
Oh.
He wanted his, and I said, no, it's Dan and Chris. I've been here longer. I'm older. I'm better looking. And I've got a better voice. All right, so do people clearly understand that I'm joking now?
Yeah.
Like literally been here longer, I think, is the only thing that applies.
No, you're older.
True.
And I'm older. Did I say older?
Yes.
You did.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So those two things.
Yeah.
But no, Chris has a great voice, and I don't know if I've ever heard Chris. But see, here's the thing. And by the way, we're just kidding about that whole thing.
Yeah.
But
Dan
people
really fought for it.
People give me a hard time every once in a while when I Elmer Fudd things. Dude speaks Canadian. So, I mean, can you forgive my little occasional Elmer Fudd thing? Because Chris, every word he says, every time he ends a sentence, he says, "Eh?
A boat?
A boot?"
To be fair, we've made it a ridiculous bit on the show.
I
for
love
Chris
it. I love it. And
of
by the way,
mispronouncing everything, and it's so funny.
And by the way, everybody knows I love Chris Hand. So y'all know that we're kidding. We had something going on. What happened last week that we weren't able to do? It was you, Mason, wasn't it?
It was my fault.
Mason had to go to. Mason said, "Oh yeah, I can record on Friday. Great, we'll record on Friday." Then we get a note from Mason who says, "Oh, oops, I have to go to jury duty."
I had jury duty.
So this is on you, Mason.
Did you get selected for the case?
I didn't, thank goodness. I was excused.
Oh, come on. Don't you want to do that? Like sit on a case? Wouldn't that be cool?
I think it would be cool, but it's over the course of 3 months, and they said that I would probably get called in multiple times.
Yeah. Oh, so was it a grand jury thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a grand jury, and then they had a I forgot what it was called. I got excused, so I'm good.
Okay.
Well, clearly it's a good thing you didn't get chosen
I
because
don't know
you
what
can't
I'm
even.
talking about.
Yeah. All you got to do is
I can
tell
say
them.
my words, but I don't know what they mean.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
So, no. So clearly, being jury duty, all you got to do is tell them you work for WTN. They'll let you right off.
They did ask what radio station I worked for.
Did they really?
Yeah, they did. They were like, he was like, what radio station? It's like Super Talk 99.7. He goes,
So
that was it?
No
that was it.
reaction.
No
yeah.
reation on anything. I was like, okay.
It's probably
I'm fine with
mandatory
that.
that they don't.
Yeah.
I think that would have been cool. You should have thrown in don't forget to listen to Mandis in the morning. Just tell all the people there in the.
Yeah, because that's the show I'll promote.
Come on, Dan. He works for Chris most of the time.
That's okay. I need some butt kissing. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what Sam's here for.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Wow. We have to tolerate you like every what is it? Every other Thursday or
Thursday?
Tuesday,
Yeah.
whenever Sam had.
You get to tolerate me.
Yeah, sure. All right, moving right along. But glad you didn't have to do jury duty. You ever
too.
served jury duty?
Jewy Dewey?
Chewy
I
Dewey?
love Jewy Dewey.
Chewy Dewey on Elmer Fudd Drive.
I don't know
Oh,
what
my
is wrong. Can I
goodness.
just tell you, I don't know what's wrong with me today, but yeah, my sleep has been deprived because my grandson was here over the weekend. So things, I'm just a little bit sleep deprived, but that's okay.
Wait, you're always sleep deprived.
I am. Look at the hours that I work. You ever done jury duty, Joan?
I have not. I've actually tried to get on a jury. I would love to serve on a really,
Like a murder trial kind of a thing?
I want to say like a juicy murder trial, but that's inappropriate to say that, right? But don't you think it would be really cool to have to consider all the evidence? And
I think that'd be really interesting.
I do
actually.
too.
I think that'd be
it would
really
be really
interesting.
cool. So
Yeah.
I've been called up to jury duty a million times. I don't know why, but I have, and I've never been placed on a jury.
So and I don't want to jinx it, but I think I've called into jury duty. I got called into jury duty like one time, and I like you, Mason, work in radio, which meant that I said that it would be a
Hardship.
financial hardship.
Yes.
Because I said I work in radio.
Yeah.
So I don't get paid. I had like 5 part-time jobs at the time. Said I don't get paid if I don't show up to work. And I got 5 part-time jobs. So if I have to do this, then I'm going to be out, whatever money it was. And they let me go.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It's like they offered me $10 a day.
Yeah, that's all you get.
That is insane.
Covers your
Yeah.
parking.
That is
essentially.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. All right, Joan, you got an opinion on professional juries? Let's go to the phones. Professional juries.
Professional juries?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
They've talked about having professional juries. That's a classic talk radio topic.
That's a dumb, really dumb idea.
Okay. Mason?
I
don't care?
I hardly made it into jury duty. I don't know what you're talking about.
Professional, like in other words, the state will pay people to be a
Oh.
professional jurist.
I feel like they would be.
It's a corruptible system.
Yeah, I feel like there's
It's a corruptible
there's
system.
possible
That's
for
exactly
bias in
right.
there.
All
So
right.
much.
Yep. All right. Hey, I want to play some audio real quick because it's been a very busy show today again, so I didn't get to everything that I wanted to do. I do, though, have some audio, if I could, Mason, and some video as well. There's a kid. He is, I don't know how old he is, but he's been a lifelong, and it's a very young age, a lifelong Democrat. And he posted a video about how he's realized that he's been lied to all this time about Republicans. And this is all, of course, based on the whole Charlie Kirk assassination, not only the Charlie Kirk assassination, but also the fallout where the left clearly is rejoicing. Some are rejoicing his murder. And to me, by the way, that also means that they are encouraging another assassination. But this is what this kid says.
I have really been pondering over the past week politics, my worldview, and just where I stand politically. Because after, the events that unfolded over the past week and the strong visceral reaction to it online, I really sat and thought about it. Really just made me sit and think, am I on a good side of politics? Am I actually aligning with my values and morals, or am I kind of just in an echo chamber full of hate,
Yes.
vitriol, vilification, and just disgusting practices?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's right, and this kid was raised to be a Democrat, and so that is an interesting question, though. This is a reasonable, intelligent young man, young kid, always considered himself a Democrat, and he does seem very, I don't know, reasonable. You know what I mean? He's not a freak show like we often see with people on the left. And he's sitting back and watching all of this insanity around him, and he says that really opened his eyes.
So I was raised in a very left-leaning space. I grew up in a left-leaning city. I've been in left-leaning educational institutions my entire life. So I always just had that left-leaning moral compass, and it was always affirmed by the fact that as a black queer man in America, there's people who are out to get you and people hate you for existing, and you need to stand firm in your left-leaning beliefs, or else your rights are at stake. People are going to try to get you out the country, take away your rights, even kill you and whatnot, right? So I've grown up with these beliefs for a really long time, and I've just been so firm in them, and I've been in these left-leaning echo chambers because of them, and I've kind of just always been around left-leaning voices as I got older. But now I'm really considering if that's even who I am and if that's what I stand for, and I'm kind of maybe considering leaving the left, because after seeing how many people have just been so nasty and just disgusting in reaction to Charlie Kirk passing away from gun violence, it's like so shocking to me.
Well, that is a great question, right? Have you been shocked by the reaction of those on the left? Yeah, the Democrats who have been celebrating Charlie's death. Now, just to let you know, I really haven't. Joan, were you surprised with the reaction of the left with Charlie Kirk? I really wasn't. Every time I believe that the Democrats have hit a new low, they reach lower and lower depths. And I still haven't seen many leaders, if any, on the left really come out and condone or condemn what people on the left are saying about Charlie Kirk and celebrating the man's death. Don Lemon, of course, played his audio yesterday. Don Lemon taking to the streets and trying to convince that woman that Charlie Kirk was some bad, awful person. Remember that. He's getting roasted online. And so, as I said yesterday, I could spend all 4 hours of every single show for the next week covering the lies that people are saying about Charlie Kirk and the reaction to it. But I really do try to focus on the good. But from CNN to MSNBC to the mainstream media to the leaders of the Democrat Party to their rank and file and people on TikTok and so forth, people are horrified. People are horrified, and I guarantee you the Democrats, they are going to lose support. And if this kid is any example, then I think that the Democrats are indeed in for a rude awakening.
When I first heard about the news, right, I actually was understanding to a lot of this excitement online. I didn't think much of the death because from what I had heard, Charlie Kirk had been a neo-Nazi who wanted me to be dead. He didn't support my existence and whatnot. And now I'm kind of sitting here thinking, and I'm like, I feel like I had been lied to. I really took some time after the thing happened to kind of look into his videos, look into his beliefs, look into his thoughts and who he was as a person, kind of reevaluate his character. And to me, he seemed like a well-mannered family man. He believed in the country. He believed in the greater good of the country. He had his own political beliefs and opinions. And sure, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with him on, but I never would stand for him dying or being murdered because of his beliefs. That just doesn't make sense to me. I would never support some sort of ideology that pushes for something that nasty.
No. But you'll notice that he is recognizing now that the other side has been lying. And you might as well just get lying. If you want to talk about the lies that the left have told, they've been telling us a lot of lies. And basically the entire 4 years of Joe Biden's administration was a lie. He says that the online rhetoric, and perhaps from those around him in real life, told nothing but lies about Charlie Kirk and conservatives, generally speaking. And he said that from a young age, they've been telling him that conservatives essentially want him to die. That's like some Palestinian type behavior right there. How they teach their children from birth that Israel shouldn't exist. That's what some of these parents are apparently doing to their kids. It is horrifying. At least that seems like the case with this kid. And when you see some of these folks that are online on TikTok and Instagram and so forth, and they are celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, I loved what Chad said yesterday. Who raised you people? Who raised you? And how do you not know clearly right from wrong.
And it kind of just made me reevaluate everything. And I was like, it left me with a weird gut feeling, and I kind of felt sick. And I was just like, I cannot believe there are so many people who are like celebrating his passing. Like he seems like a normal guy. I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. So then I kind of just like really went down that rabbit hole of like starting to question my beliefs and thoughts. And I think I may be starting to lean a lot farther right in response to everything that's taken place.
Yeah, so there you go. You'd not say another Democrat bites the dust in the sense that he's coming over to, at the very least, the independent, maybe as an independent, or Lord help us if you're the Democrats, a Republican. And by the way, one of the things that he said, and I thought it was interesting, I don't have time to get to all the audio, but he credited seeing a video of Charlie Kirk with Candace Owens as she and Kirk were driving down the road, apparently singing a song and just hanging out. But in other words, the video that he saw helped to humanize Charlie Kirk, as opposed to just trying to brainwash this kid into thinking Charlie Kirk was some awful person. He started to do a deep dive into who Charlie Kirk as a person was, and it did. It simply put, it opened his eyes. And I think that is going to be happening with a lot, especially a lot of the younger Democrats who they have been lied to for years about what Republicans and conservatives actually stand for.